Welcome back, everyone, to your Bestiary guide for Brigandine, the Legend of Runersia. So, I'm your host, veracitytrigger, and before we get into this, if you want to do whatever you can to help the channel grow, that'd be great. Leave a comment down below and let me know if this is your favorite monster. I know, as of late, this actually has been mine. I've been actually liking this more than dragons, believe it or not. I know, dragons are still a little more powerful, but these guys do hold their own in a battle, and sometimes might, in certain ways, maybe be a little more powerful, but we'll see. We'll talk about it here, but let's go over this. So I'm going to call this the Titan class video because this is the totality of what we get up to as a Titan. But you start as a Gigas. You can buy Gigases at certain castles. It's pretty easy to find on the map. When you look for monsters, it shows you a listing to the right as to where you can buy these things from. Or sorry, not buy, summon. Sometimes I say that. But so anyways, we're looking at the Gigas class here. We're going to do a very quick overall here. Won't take too long. But you can see the magic cost of the Gigas is on the right here. So we're looking at the right side stats on this side here. So I'll just go ahead and do a quick little circle here, and this is kind of what we're looking at so far for this class. Now if we jump over, we're going to see it as a basic attack, a power fist. Jump over again, as no magic, nothing like that, no abilities, nothing at all really. Just a very, I would want to say kind of a fat tank, you know, not like a defensive tank, more hit point heavy tank. And those are his hit points on the right. That's why it's showing down out of what it has right now. So its hit points from what it would be at level 1 would be 662. But currently it has right now, because it is a Cyclops, is 702. So you can see the drop and everything. There's a drop. There's a 10-point defense drop. There is a drop with strength. There's a drop with mobility. So these things only move 4 spaces at a time. So they're not super mobile, but most things in this game are about 4 spaces for a lot of things. Only some leaders actually go a lot higher than that. But 4 spaces about, I want to say, I'm leaning towards the fact that it's mostly average movement for most things that aren't flyers, or, you know, heavy mobility based upon what you can move through. The difference is, though, that they prefer mountain terrain, so they can, it seems to me they can move a little further on mountain terrain, but regardless, you can see the differences between the original class and a Cyclops class. So let's go up to the Cyclops class, and let's look at this. So you can see that the original class has no orbs. There are no orbs here at all for it to, you know, benefit using against another thing. But as soon as you get to the Cyclops class, now it actually has gone up as to a red and a white. So this Cyclops is considered a holy, fiery elemental here. That's why the red and the white orbs. Let's look at some of the skills here. Heavy Hyper Fist is replaced from Heavy Fist or Power Fist, and Heavy Impact is actually a skill I can look at here. It says it deals major damage to a single adjacent enemy unit, has a 33% chance to inflict feint, and decreasing target's attack and defense. So this will do a one-off attack. The enemy cannot counter this. It's a weird kind of attack the enemy doesn't have a chance to counter, regardless of whether you do feint or not. And it could also give them attack and defense down for a certain amount of turns. Magic, as you can see, nothing here. Abilities has feint immunity, so this is the one thing that it gets versus its initial form, is it is invulnerable to being feinted by its own kind. So these guys don't have to worry about getting feinted, which is actually a very good thing, because they're like now better versions of themselves. They know now how not to get feinted, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it for the middle road class. Now, initially when the game was produced, you're probably like, this is the final class. Not anymore. The developers a few months ago decided to go make a final tier class for this, calling it the Titan, and it's a pretty cool class. Let's go ahead and look at this. And we're going to look at this, and then I'm basically going to class it up, and you're going to see it in all its glory. So we're looking at about a 60-point bump in hit points here. That's quite a bump in hit points. Really, really, really is. That is more than double MP. Look at that, 66 to 146. Defense goes up by 10 points, so not an egregiously amount of defense boosting there, but still pretty good. Attack goes up a little bit, tiny little bit. Strength goes up by 4. Really good. Intelligence stays the same. Mobility stays the same. So mobility, final tier, and middle of the road tier, the exact same. Still mountain preference. So these guys love to run around on hills and mountains and stuff. And then there's a magic increase of 15. Some of these increases are 20 or 25, but this one's still just 15, so that's actually quite good. It doesn't cost too much. So 80 points. If you play the Grand Edition or the original game, you're thinking about a normal dragon, that's about 75 cost. This one's 80 cost. You know, so that's actually quite good for this game and that particular thing. You can see the strength growth goes like through the roof here, like from the previous one, you know. So all right, so that's basically the first part here. Let's move on to the skills. And so let's check this out. If you want to know how to do this, you just highlight it here, just press right. You could also hit X too, but I just found out recently you just press right, and you can go over there and press left to go back. Ba ba ba. I want to know what that is. Press right. All right, so ultimate fist, press X to look at details here. Normal attack deals minor damage, 33% chance of, you know, for inflicting faint, pretty much the same as the hyper fist. Okay, but the next one here, heavy impact versus this one. So this, it went from that other move that is a one-hit move that uses MP, and then once they're out of MP they can't really get it back, from 33 to 50%. If you see this change here, it's like, whoa, that's a 50% chance of inflicting faint for the final one, which means you have a pretty good chance most of the time because you're flipping a coin, essentially. I mean, you could get pretty unlucky and not get it very much, but that's still a better chance than before. Okay, so let's look down here. And what is this extra one? Ragnarok is one of my favorite skills. This is essentially like a lined up breath attack, but it doesn't go 3 spaces, it only goes 2. So it only goes 2 in front of you, which is, you know, not as far, but even still, hitting the tank and then hitting the leader behind him is still really, really powerful. And it gives you a 33% chance of inflicting faint. It doesn't do attack down and defense down, but this literally, like, he punches forward so fast it creates this lava strike on the ground. This lava fire comes up and hits everybody or something like that. You'll have to see it in action. It's pretty cool, but Ragnarok is one of my favorite skills you can do with this, and it doesn't actually cost that much MP comparatively. We'll class it up and check it out so you can kind of like see. No real magic abilities. The MP's used for this earth impact here and Ragnarok. So that's what you're using MP for, is these things particularly, not an actual magic spell. So, you know, that's why you don't see anything there. The abilities, now this is interesting. You can see how the Cyclops has faint immunity. Still faint immunity, but gains 2 extra skills. Counter damage up to S. S class is the best class you can have in a game for anything. Everything goes through backwards lettering all the way to... Oh, no, sorry. I just was thinking of Front Mission there. You go up to, I believe it's... Oh, no, wait, no, that is true. Oh, that is true. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I've been playing too much Front Mission. Sorry about that. Forget what I just said. You go up to A. A is the best you can get for most stats, and then S goes above A. I play a lot of games. Sometimes I get lost in thought with other things too. But yes, S is the best you can get to. Counter damage basically by 20%. Basically kind of like what Rudo has. Rudo has counter damage plus, which if you look at the original game, Rudo is kind of the counterpart, or the similar protagonist that Zemeckis was. He also had counter damage plus. very high. So they kind of get that skill there. It's really cool. If you didn't know it, it basically means that them tanking and taking hits, they're going to produce a massive amount of damage, because now they're doing 20% extra damage on a counterattack. All right, and accuracy up 10%. I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but these are the extra skills a Titan gets over just being a Cyclops. So let us, let's go ahead and class this up here, and we'll see what this looks like. So I'll let you get to see this class up. Look at how gigantic, ginormous this is compared to the other one. Plus it's got some cool tats, or that's birthmarks. I don't know, but there we go. All right, going to go out here, gonna hit triangle on this thing, and now, as you see, we went from 1 red and white to 2 red and a white dot down here. We're looking at this bar. This is what it does now. So anything that is green element or black element, he is going to crush it quite well. All right, so let's check out some stats here. Sometimes you see things in here that it's hard to describe in other areas. But yeah, that's what he looks like here. And here's his abilities here, you can see. And every time you go up with basic attacks, the power attack goes up as well. So that is a thing. There's the Earth Impact. This is a pre-move, though. So it's a pre-move, and it does a single attack. The enemy cannot counter this. This is a non-counterable attack. I don't... well, it says right here. Actually, it says right here. It shows an X. So you see how they... Can it be countered? No, cannot be countered. Ragnarok is technically a breath attack, so that can also not be countered. And here's where the MP comes into play. 40 for Earth Impact and 60 for Ragnarok. So if we come back one space and we look at how much MP we got 146. And then we go over 146. You know, you can essentially add that up to 1 Ragnarok, 1 Earth Impact, and then another Earth Impact. So you could do a Ragnarok, 2 Earth Impacts, or you could do 2 Ragnaroks, and that's about it. Depends on what you want to do. But this is where it comes in. 1 to 2 range for this one, and just 1 for this one. And this one here says like ground and sky, so this one is... You can't hit sky creatures too well, but Ragnarok will hit everything guaranteed. So these are a little bit different here, but this is the reason why I think relook the Titan class. You might even want to take them more than the Dragon class, to be honest. I know I grew up loving using the dragons and all that, but I gotta say, Titan class, a lot cheaper. Still almost as strong as the dragon, maybe off by about 20 points of defense. But, I mean, with the counter damage plus, it's not a slouch in battle anymore. It's definitely something that's not super squishy. So, elevated and a stronger form of the Cyclops, being after being showered with mana, it still inflicts feint with attacks and has slightly better accuracy. This glass cannon suffers poor defense in exchange for massive strength. It learns a new skill that boosts damage during counterattacks and will angrily pulverize any enemies within a 2 hex radius. Very true. So what they call a glass cannon, I call a fat tank. Hardened tanks, true tanks are ones with real super high defense. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the video here. Not much else to talk about. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you do, leave a like and definitely leave a comment. Let me know if you think that this is one of your favorite monsters to play as in this newer game here. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to know if that is something that you actually do like to use and you like to enjoy. If you think there's something that this thing's really weak to, let me know as well, and it'd be cool to have a discussion. Otherwise, next up video that I've got going here, I'm going to be covering the Balmot class. We'll talk about that tank here in a hot minute, or maybe the next day. But we'll see you later. Thanks for coming by.